All right, we have this right triangle right here. So we've got a right angle right here. And it gives us 40 degrees, and it wants us to find this x. Well, let's first, to do this with a right triangle, trying to find a missing side, let's label what we have. We have an angle up here. So across from it, we call that the opposite side. The side that it's sitting on right here, the two that help form it, this is going to be the adjacent because the 40 is closest to that. So the two where the right angle is formed are going to be your adjacent and opposite. Adjacent is going to be the side that's right beside that degree measurement that's given, and the opposite side will be the guy that's on the opposite, away from it. Now right here, this guy, that's got to be your hypotenuse, because across from the 90 degrees, the hypotenuse doesn't ever change. It's always across from where the 90-degree angle is. But the adjacent and opposite are always dependent upon where the angle is. If this angle had been over here, this would have been our adjacent side, and that would have been our opposite side. But let's deal with the problem we have. We have 40 degrees here, so we have our opposite, we have our adjacent, which we have, and we're trying to find the hypotenuse. So the pieces we're dealing with are our adjacent, and we're trying to find our hypotenuse. So if you remember that expression, some old hippie caught another hippie tripping on acid. Don't really like that, but that helps y'all remember it. Some old hippie caught another hippie tripping on acid. Which of these deals with the A and the H? It's right here. Some old hippie caught another hippie tripping on acid. If it had opposite and hypotenuse, we would use the sine. If it had the opposite and the adjacent, we would use the tangent. But instead, we're having to use, we have adjacent hypotenuse, so we're using the cosine. So the cosine of our angle, what's our angle? 40 degrees. So we say the cosine of 40 degrees put over 1 is equal to, now according to what we have to do adjacent divided by hypotenuse. You can't change that. It's the adjacent on top over the hypotenuse on bottom. What's our adjacent? Well, we're given that number. That's a 9 over the hypotenuse. That's what we're trying to find. That's the unknown x. So we now have this proportion. So we do the means extremes. X times whatever the cosine of 40 is, 40 degrees, equals 9 times 1, which is 9. To get x, we're simply going to divide by the cosine of 40 because that's some measurement. Divide that side by cosine of 40. I got to divide the 9 by cosine of 40. I will get x. I'm going to take my calculator. I'm going to make sure my calculator is in degree mode. I'm going to do 9 divided by the cosine of 40. When I did 9 divided by cosine of 40 earlier, I got the answer is approximately 11.75. So for triangle 4, this hypotenuse should be around 11.75. Let's think about it. Hypotenuse is always the longest side. This is a 9. This is a little bit longer. 11.75 makes sense to me, so I'm pretty sure I'm correct. So problem number 4, x is approximately 11.75.